Hey Victoria, welcome, welcome. It's hot and humid here in Connecticut too. Ugh. Um, I'm coming on today because I'm not going to be here tomorrow, and with everything going on in my schedule, I didn't have time to shoot any videos for this week or last week. But I just want to assure you, I already shot Cool Tool and Fit Tip for next week. So I'll be back on my regular schedule, except there is no Fab Fit Friday next week, so I'm going to be in Iowa. Ugh. The second half of the year is when I get a little crazy with my schedule, and my flying is a lot. So I apologize for all the travel disruptions, but instead of canceling Fab Fit Friday this week, I moved it up a day. And actually, I just found out I forgot I was having lunch with some friends because I've been in such a rush today to get all this stuff done before I leave tonight for a girls' weekend with my daughters in Maine. I'm really looking forward to that. So that inspired today's topic. I would like to make a swim top and a pair of swim shorts to wear on the beach. And the thought of going shopping in a store scared the bejesus out of me. So we're going to be making them here today. And I'm going to show you the pattern and what I did to it. And actually, I put links in my description for the two patterns I'm going to be working with. I have a gym tank that's very fitted, and it has a higher neck. It's like no cleavage already, but I even made it higher, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'm using the shorts from my Skort pattern to make the swim shorts. So links to both of those are in the description below if anyone's interested. If you want to start sewing immediately, get the PDF version because I won't be home until Monday. So that's my little housekeeping thing. Hey Pat, welcome. Oh, you enjoyed meeting me at PatternCon. I had so much fun at PatternCon. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I hope you had a blast as well. And I enjoyed meeting you too. Thank you for popping in. I'm so happy you're here. All right, so let's get going here. Here's what I want to show you. I have a couple things going on. And I'm going to show you what I have going on with the I'm going to show you what's going on with the top first. So let me go on to my table view. Here's my table view. And I'm going to drag over my pattern and I'm going to show you what I did. Ooh, and I'm also going to change my brightness a little bit so it's not so frightening. Hold on. Let me just make this a little less bright. Oops. Okay, so here I have, this is the back, and this is the front. And what I want to show you here is all the green that I colored in around the neckline. I raised the neckline up higher. I also made the shoulder wider to have more coverage on my shoulder. Plus, I'm going to show you how to make a lined top like this so all the seams are on the inside so it's comfortable. So I've already cut out two fronts and two backs. I'm going to completely line this, a full lining, because I'm working with Supplex or Supplex, and it's a very buttery soft, lightweight fabric. And let me just zoom back over here to my thing and see if I can show you here. If I stretch this out, I think you can see it's see-through. Like if I put it in front of my window behind me, see how you can see through it? So I want to make sure it's not see-through. And then to give myself a little bit of support, I'm going to wear one of my soft pullover stretchy bras underneath, because obviously I don't want to be flopping around, and I'm not going to take the time to put cups in here. This is just a fast, I want something to wear that covers my chest because I get burnt here very easily. So that's what we're going to be working on first. So again, what I did here is I widened the shoulder. Let me just zoom in so you can see. Let me get this really sharp. Okay, and I widened the shoulder. Okay, so it's going to be pretty high on my neck like this. All right, so I've already cut out two fronts and two backs. And I also, at the hem, I don't want this to be hanging much farther from my waist, so I turned the hem on this up 2 inches. All right, so I cut those out, and we are going to construct them right now. So before I start working with the actual fabric though, I've already set up my serger, so let me get this in a better view for you. Maybe I need it to be a little lighter now. Oops, lighter. And I need to plug this in. And I need to plug this in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you need to test your seam before you sew. So I have a scrap here, and I've got it set up for a 4-thread stitch. And I'm just going to stick my fabric under the needles right now because I also have to have my knife pop up. So let me just test stitch this. If I can get it to start turning on. Oh, if I plugged it in on the other end, it'll turn on. There we go. All right, so now let me just try this here. All right, so see, I just tried it with what I had going on. My differential feed is at 1.5, which I think is a little bit too fast for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put it at 1.3, and let's try it again. I want to make sure I get a nice stitch. Now my serger does need to be fixed. I have a needle tension issue, so I'm going to have to ignore that piece of it, but I want to make sure I have the nicest stitch possible. All right, so see how it's I think you can see, if I get in really close here, I think you can see that I have some issues, and also my light on my serger needs to be replaced too. Let me turn this on so you can see. All right, so see how it's kind of a wonky stitch? It does this weird thing where it gathers up a little bit. This is not ideal, but at the end of the day, you can't see it from the right side, so I'm just gonna go with it to make this top. So the first thing we're gonna do, now that I have my stitch set, I'm going to shut this off until I need it for the serger. I'm going to widen this out a little bit and maybe get a little bit of a better angle here. All right, so what we're going to do is I've got, these are my fronts, and you can tell this is the front because it's got a little bit of a scooped neck here. And I'm just going to turn this light on to see if, I don't think there really isn't a right or wrong side, so I'm not going to worry about that per se. I think it looks the same front and back. So I've got a front and I've got a back like this. Oh, there is a right and wrong side. Okay, so the darker side is faced in, and that's what I'm going to do for both of these. So one is slightly darker, so there is, now if I can see it, I don't know if you can see the difference between this and this. So I've got two dark sides faced in, so I'm just going to go with that. And I'm just going to put some clips here. Now, you know, if you're working with your serger, clips are better because there's less chance you can run them over and traumatize your needle. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip these. Going to clip once here because the first thing we're going to do is sew the shoulder seams, and I need to do both sets. So here's one set, I'm going to put it aside, and then I'm going to get my second set, and I'm going to put dark sides face in. Oh, you know what, I'm going to make these light side face in, and then I can decide which side I like better, because this will actually be reversible the way I'm doing it. So I'm going to put light sides face in on this one. So I've got one dark sides face in and one light sides face in, and then I can see how it looks when it's on my body and decide which way I like it here. There's no obvious wrong side. There's, you know. All right, so let me just do this, and let me just do this. So our first step here is we are going to sew the shoulders. And because I'm lining it, I'm not going to worry about any stay tape on my shoulder. I'm just going to do it. Let me just make sure this is nice and sharp. All right, I just want to make sure this is nice and sharp. Hold on. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to sew our shoulders. So we've got 4 shoulders to sew, 2 for the lining and 2 for the outside of the, the public side. So I'm just going to stick this in here. Let me get my light so we can see what I'm doing. I really have to take this in and have this, definitely I have to have this serviced. Maybe when I go away, my next trip, we'll drop it off. Okay, so I'm going to slide this under here, put my presser foot down, and I'm just going to stitch this shoulder. And then I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to do this shoulder. Now the one nice thing about this Supplex is it does not roll, which is nice. So I can get it right under there and just stitch it. All right, now I'm going to do my other set. Hey Victoria. Okay, Victoria's asking if this could be done on the sewing machine. If you try using some stretchy thread like Mettler has Seriflex thread, I think you probably could do it on your sewing machine. I mean, I sew yoga pants on my sewing machine, but I shorten my stitch length so it builds in stretch, and I stretch my fabric as I go, so you probably could do that. All right, let's get this last shoulder here. I wish you guys could reach into the screen and feel how nice this Supplex feels. It feels buttery soft, like literally buttery soft. I've made shorts out of this for underneath my swim Skort, and I love it. And I'm going to actually use this fabric to make a gusset on my swim shorts. I'm going to show you that in a minute. All right, now here's what we're going to do. We are going to take our front, or one of our pieces like this. Okay, and I'm going to lay it like this. You can, oops, I got to cut this, shorten that. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this flat like this. Okay, this is the back, this is the front, and I'm just going to take my other ones, my other layer, and I'm going to line it up like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip them at the shoulders, but I'm going to offset the seams, or not offset them, but I'm going to flip one seam allowance one way and one seam allowance the other way, just to reduce bulk here. And I think to get it to stay like that, I'm literally going to trim these even. And I'm going to put a piece of Scotch tape here, and I'm going to wrap it all the way around the edge. So I've got those seams facing the way I want there. And then I guess I can put a clip here in the middle. Then I'm going to come around and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just trying to come up with easy time-saving things so I don't have to worry about which way the fabric's lying when or which way the seam allowances are lying when I go to sew. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna, again, Scotch tape. And this is just my regular magic tape, like that, okay? And I can put another clip here. Now I'm gonna be using the burrito method to finish these, you know, do the armholes. And I should have thought of this before I came on, but what I will be doing is when I get done, I'll put a link to a video that I show this method, you know, with 2 different color fabrics, so it's easy to see what I'm doing. But basically now I'm going to start right before one of my shoulder seams. So I get that out of the way, oops, out of the way right now, like this. And I'm just going to stick this under here, like this. Now, this fabric is really soft, and what's happening is the tension on my threads are causing it to pull a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my threads out to the side a little bit, like this. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm literally pulling my threads off to the side just a little bit so I can allow my fabric to lay flat and not get bunched up by the tension on the needle threads, like that. And then I'm gonna put my presser foot down like that. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna serge all the way around the neckline like this. And as I go, I'm just gonna skim the edge. I'm just gonna take my time. All the way around the neckline. Coming to my other shoulder seam. All right, now I'm coming to the start point. When I get to my start point, I'm going to cut off the edge, the tail. Then I'm going to put my knife down and I'm just going to overlap. So I'm finishing it. Then I'm going to pick my presser foot up. I'm going to pick my needles up, push everything back so I'm not just running off the edge. And I'm going to chain off. And I think you can see that makes a really nice stop, a really nice overlap. So see, so it doesn't look like it's, you know, running off the edge of the fabric. And then I'm going to peel as much of this tape away as I can. The rest of it will come off as I wear it, and plus it's going to be encased in fabric, so I'm not that worried about the little bits that are left underneath the looper threads here. I'm just going to peel that out off. And then let's look and see what we have. Oh, hi, Miami fashion stylist. I used tape on the seams to keep one seam allowance facing this way and one facing the opposite way to remove bulk. So see, one's going this way and one's going that way. See? So I don't have to worry about the seam allowances. All right, now if I take these two things, I just want to show you, I'm gonna tuck my neckline inside like this. Okay, so now we've got my neckline like this, just so you can see how this looks. So you can see it makes a pretty neatly finished. Let me shut this light off and let me just make this a little brighter, I'm sorry. And very sharp. All right, so I think you can see this makes a nice finished neckline, see? So it's all nice and neat in there, right? So we like the neckline. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I am going to I've got two, okay, so let's look at what I've got here. So if you look at this here, this is an armhole right here. So see how I've got one armhole right here. Okay, basically now I want to take these two things. I'm going to shorten these thingies just a little bit here so they're not flapping that big. And what we want to do is we actually want to fold it under and fold this one under like 3/8 of an inch like this. So I'm folding the neckline edge under 3/8 and I'm folding the lining 3/8 of an inch, and then I'm just going to put a clip here for a hot second. And what that's going to allow me to do is I want to get all of this fabric. Okay, so what we want to do is we literally want to, I'm going to turn it like this actually. So see what I'm going to do is, see, here's my seam allowances right here. See how they're right here? I'm going to go like this. I'm going to leave the clip there, and I'm basically going to put right sides together all the way down this side, this armhole. And I'm going to start right here with a clip. Right here. I'm going to use my little Wonder Clips for this. They weigh less. And then I'm going to put, so basically I'm going to wrap up this side here. So I'm going to, whoops, I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to take this piece and this piece, this armhole and this armhole are going to come in together like this. So see how the fabric's in there? See how it's inside there? So I'm basically going to put clips here. Like this. Okay, so I've clipped that whole side of this armhole right sides together. And once I get this like this, what I'm going to do now is, I think you can see, let me get in really close here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out some of this, meaning I'm going to pull through some of the other armhole. So I'm doing the, I don't know if this is the front or back armhole right here. I'm going to pull it through the opening where I have it clipped. And I also need to take out this clip now. So this clip right here, I'm going to take this out. And then I can now line up these. So there's my shoulder seams, see, right there. So I'm going to put that clip right here. Whoops. And then I'm also going to clip like an inch or two past the seam. All right? Because we're going to come at it from both sides. But basically, there is, let me see if I can lay it so you can see. So here's my side seam right here. This is my side seam. This is the whole right sides together. There's my shoulder seam. And I pulled it through this hole out to get it a little bit past the shoulder seam, see? So now what I'm going to do is I am going to start down here. Let me get this light going now. Oops. Make this a little darker. I'm sorry I have both these light things going on. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out this clip. I'm going to stick this under there. I've got to put my knife back up because remember I put it down. And then I'm going to serge these layers together. Taking the clips out as I come to them. And then we're going to come right up to the shoulder seam. It's still a little bit too light, I think. Turn it a little bit this way so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go over the shoulder seam. And I want to keep this one facing down. That's why I should have taped it maybe, but that's all right. And then I want to get past the shoulder seam because then it'll make it really easy to do the opposite side. So once I get past the shoulder, then I'm going to stop. I think that's far enough. So I'm going to lift everything off, push it back away, chain off. So you can see I went about an inch beyond the shoulder seam. My shoulder seam is right here. So now let's look and see what we have. Oh, hi Kay, welcome. It's hot here too. I think it's hot everywhere right now. Showing how to do the burrito method to finish neckline and armholes. All right, so you can see what I have now is I've got my finished neckline here. I've got this finished front armhole here. See? That's the front armhole. Now the back armhole, the rest of this is going to be really easy because see how I got to my shoulder? So all I'm going to do now is start matching it up this way and I'm going to sew the other half. So this half will be really easy. We're just going to go ahead and start sewing from this end now. And I don't even think I really need to pin these together. This is just going to go right together now. I'll show you. So I'm going to put my fabric here. So this is the side seam and the very end of the back armhole next to the side seam here. So again, I'm going to line this up. Like this. Okay, and then we're just going to sew this. And we're going to sew right up until we overlap the start point about 1/4 of an inch. So here we have our start point. And so when I get to the start point, I'm going to put my knife down so I don't cut those stitches, right? I don't want to cut anything. And I'm just going to overlap my start point. Then I'm going to lift my needles, lift my presser foot, push everything off, and chain off. Hey, Barbara and Helen. Welcome, welcome. Barbara says very late, but could this have been rolled to the other side or to the other show? You probably can roll it around. You know what I mean? This is, like I'm saying, this is the burrito method that I'm doing, but because my shoulder is so wide, it just goes together very easily. Like I'm not having any problem with this at all. So see how now I have one finished armhole here. See? So, I mean, you can, you know what I mean? You can definitely, like I could take, all right, let's try this. All right, on this side, see here's my shoulder right here. Let's try wrapping the whole thing around. Let's see. So if I take this side, wait a minute, It needs to go like this. All right, so this is what needs to sew together here. I mean, I suppose I could. Let's see if I just want to see if I can flop it around here. I mean, I think I can, because this fabric is so lightweight and stretchy. I probably can just do this. See, probably can roll it. I'm not rolling it. All right, wait a minute. All right, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's get it back like this. Hold on. Hold the phone, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we are. Okay. Okay. So, again, the way I always, this is how I learned, but I do know people roll it up. I guess I'm not a roller. All right, hold on one second. So if I go like this and like this, I think for a wide shoulder, you don't need to really worry about rolling it, because literally if I go like this and I go like this and just put one clip here, that sets me up. To me, that just makes more sense. I don't know. But again, this is why I love sewing. There's a million ways to do it. But like if I just go like that, I've made turn my edges under, and then I just, you know, wrap it around like this and bring the armholes together like this. This works really well for me. This is the way I do it. So now I've got, you know, see, now here's my whole armhole right here. See? Maybe if I made it bigger, you could see. Yeah, wide shoulders do make a difference. And honestly, it's been a really long time since I've made a narrow shoulder and finished it this way. But you know what? The next time I do a garment like that, I'm gonna play with it and make a, you know, find the easiest way to roll that up and make it nice and neat, and then I'll share that with you. But like for this, I don't need to bother with that because there's enough clearance through the shoulder seam. And really, it's not that wide. It's only, my shoulder is only, well, like 2 3/4 inches. It's 2 3/4 inches. So, I mean, I guess that is a wider strap for a sleeveless garment. But, when I do a narrow one, Barbara, I'm going to figure that out. All right, let's see, where am I? All right, so here's my clip. See, it fell on the floor, and I can still even see what I'm doing. So I've got my, I've already pinned it like this. So let's get back under here. See, I love it that it flopped on the floor, and I can see how to get it back to what I was doing. All right, so there's my armhole, and then here is the hole that I'm creating. See, right in here? So I'm going to reach in here and pull it through, and at this point now I can get rid of that first clip that was holding my allowances together. So then I can pull it through and just put my shoulder seams together plus like another inch. That's really all you need, is like another inch past the shoulder seam. So here's my shoulder seams. And I'm just going to put a clip there. And then again, I just want to get like another inch. Like this. And I'm just going to put one more clip right here. This is the only fussy part, is to get that added inch. But once you have it, then it's golden. All right, so there's my extra inch right there. All right, so now let's do this side. Now I'm kind of excited to show you the shorts because I want to make shorts, but I don't want that serge seam, you know, in there. I want to, you know, I want to make it more comfortable. So I'm going to show you an easy way to add a like a gusset inside to make it more comfortable. All right, so let's sew this. And again, I'm just sewing around the armhole. All right, when I get to the shoulder seam, I am just going to pop over that. Oops. And then I'm just going to stitch just like an inch past. Okay, so we've got like that. Now let's turn this right side out. Let's see where we are. All right, so look, we're almost done. We've got this whole front armhole is done now, see? So now I'm just gonna come over here, turn it on itself, and we're just gonna stitch the rest of this, the back armhole, and then we're gonna be all done with this part. And then the cool thing is we're gonna finish the side seams of the lining and the side seams of the outside fabric separately, so all the seam allowances are face in. So this will be nice and comfortable to wear. There's going to be no seam allowances poking on me. And I'm going to have a fabulous weekend with my daughters. I'm so excited to get away with them. Just spend some quality time. It's so hard to get both of them together on the same thing because they're both so busy with their respective schedules that I'm very excited about this little weekend I'm doing. All right, let's get this going. Oops. All right, I want to make sure I get both of these ends in there. I haven't had a false start yet, so I feel like, you know how like sometimes you sew both ends together and it doesn't, they're not lined up. Although I have to say, as for as lightweight and sheer this Supplex is, it's very easy to work with. It doesn't curl, it's very nice. Okay, so now I'm just gonna I really need to get my serger fixed. All right. All right, I caught the edge of my thing here, so let me see right here. Does this fabric ravel? Victoria wants to know. It doesn't really ravel, but it does. You have to be careful when you're cutting it out with a sharp blade, because if you cut it and you leave little threads and then you pull those threads, they could snag. You know what I mean? So you got to make a clean cut. I just caught the little edge of this, so I'm just taking out this little edge. Let me just take this out here. So it'll lay, I just want it to lay flat. Okay, now that'll be okay. I just caught this little bit. And why did I catch it? I'll tell you why. Because I veered off the edge instead of pushing everything back. I tried to like skip a step, so don't skip a step. Ooh, and look at, I caught some of the thread in the fabric, so see that puffy thing right there? I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to stop playing with it and just finish it. All right. All right, now that I got past that, I'm going to put my knife down, and I'm just going to overlap my start point. Now I'm going to lift, lift, push back, and chain off. All right, let's take a look at, oops. Let's take a look at this now. See, the exciting thing is this is basically done now. The rest is super easy. So see how I've got both armholes are completely finished. Okay. So now, to finish the entire thing, the only thing I have left to do is we are going to match. So here at the base of my seam, I'm going to match my tops of my side seams like this. Oh, except I have to do it inside, so let's do it the right way. So we want to match. Wait, hold on. I want to do this in the way that you could see what I'm doing. So basically, let's turn it, I'm going to turn it inside out now. So if we lay it inside out, oh wait, hold on. Hold. I'm just trying to think of, show you an easy way to do this here. I use my rotary cutter to cut this out. I use my rotary cutter for almost everything. All right, so if I go like this, if I match these like this, right like this, so you can see the raw edges, again, I'm going to offset them, and this is where I'm going to use my Scotch tape trick again. So I'm going to cut these close. And I'm just going to match up my seam right here. And I'm going to have one seam allowance going left and one going right if I hold it like this. And then I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape. I'm just going to hold it here. Okay, and then just to hold it, like hold it, I'm going to put this clip on top of it. Because now what I can do is line up both side seams. And you'll see it's just going to make one continuous seam here. So I'm sewing from hem to hem. So if I line this up at the hem here, okay, so here's one side seam from here to here, and then my other side seam goes from here to here. And we're just going to sew that, and then when I turn it all to the right side, the seam allowances will be inside. All right, and I'm just going to set up the other one, and then I will try this on for you so you can see how it looks. So let me just set up the other side. So now I'm over here, and this one over here. Let me just get it so it's, so now we're over here on this side. So I'm going to line up. I'm going to put right sides together. Right sides together. So let me clip these tails. I'm going to put right sides together like this. Just make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so right sides together. And again, I'm going to put a piece of tape to hold the seam allowances flat. Like that. And then I'm going to put a clip to hold it. And then I've got my one seam allowance, one side seam right here. Like this. And then I'm going to do my other side seam like this. And then I'm going to just decide, I don't know how I'm going to hem it. I could turn the whole thing inside out and basically sew it together from the inside and leave a little hole to finish. I might do that, we'll see. We will see what it looks like when I get it on my body here. All right, so now I've got both sides set up. Okay, here's one side seam right here, and then the other side seam's right here. So let's just sew these short little seams, and then we will be ready to try this on. And then I will show you about my shorts, my swim shorts, because I got a cool thing for that. Got a interesting, I think it's going to work. I think what I have planned will work. We're going to try it. All right, so let's just sew this now. So I'm starting at the hem on one side, right here. So that's going in. Just make sure the edges are even. They are. Let's just... Alright, now I'm going over my Scotch tape. I'm pulling it a little bit from the back when I go over my Scotch tape because of the extra resistance, just so I don't get a glob of stitching. Okay. And then we're just going to finish this one. Okay, let's do the other side. Would I top stitch the armhole, and does the fabric hold a press? Well, let's figure that out when we get to that, Kay. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It depends on how it lays when I have it on my body. I might top stitch the neckline. We'll see. But I might not. It's just going to depend on how the fabric's acting when I get it on. All right, let's see. Honestly, I'm hoping because it's going to stretch onto me, I won't need to top stitch anything, but we'll see. All right, I'm almost done. This is exciting. I haven't been on a public beach in a very long time in a bathing suit. So this is my answer to how to not embarrass myself. We'll see. All right. All right, let's see what we have now. This is going to be exciting. I'm going to shut this light off, and I'm just going to take my dress off. Just give me 1 minute. Ooh. All right, let me put on this top, and then we'll see how it looks. I'm just going to take the Scotch tape off the side, tops of the side seams here. I'm going to turn the whole thing right side out, and I'm going to try it on for you live right now, and we'll see what we have. Okay, let's see. Okay, you're going to see it before me. Boop. Okay, I have to say, I didn't know how it looked, but it feels amazing. I think I'm very happy, and I don't think I need to top stitch. See? Oh my God, this is heaven on my body. Heaven. That feels so nice. Okay, I love it. I'm going to leave that part on, and I don't think I have to top stitch. I think it's just perfect just like this. And see, now all of my cleavage is covered, so I don't have to worry about getting burnt here. That was my main thing. I have these, so I'm looking at myself in the thing. These are t-shirt weight knit shorts I have on. They look ridiculous, but just so ignore those. It is like butter. This is so nice. Like, this is so comfortable. I would wear this not even to the beach. This is very comfortable. Now let's look at my second project. And so this second project is going to involve the sewing machine. So what we're going to do here is, first let me show you what I did. I'm going to show you on the pattern. Hold. Now I showed a long time ago how to add a gusset to a to shorts. I'm going to do it a little bit different this time. Okay, because I just want to make this, I don't want to make a separate seam, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So let me just switch my view here. Oh my God, I am so, oops, not that, sorry. Here we go. Oh, thank you, Kay. Miami fashion stylist says like butter. It is like butter. This is so comfortable. I'm so excited about this, the way this fits. I'm like very excited. Okay. Oh, Victoria says it looks amazing. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at this now. Because, you know, we need to have an outfit to go on the beach. We can't just have a nice top. So this is my vintage at this point Skort shorts pattern. You can see I've written all over it. It's got all kinds of stuff on it. But what I want you to pay attention to here is I drew these gusset shapes. So here's one for the front and here's one for the back. Then I trace them and I tape them together. Oh, I must have, yeah, okay, so there's my, see, there's my front, right? Here is my back, right there, see? So I traced them. What I did was I just made the side, the inseam completely straight, and I taped them together, and I got rid of the seam allowance. Okay, so I cut one seam allowance off, and I lined the other one up. So the seam allowance is gone here. So this is my gusset shape. This right here is, this is the crotch. Right here, okay? This is the hem down here, right? Just to give you some bearings on that. So I've cut two of these out of my buttery soft, right? So what we're gonna do now is I am going to take these two pieces, and on this wider crotch edge right here, so see, this is the crotch right here. I'm going to sew this seam. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to do. And so I don't lose this work, it's always a good idea if you have something you like, you know, pin it to it so you don't lose it. So if I want to use it again, I've got it pinned. Okay, and this is the fabric I'm going to use for my shorts, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I don't know if it's a perfect match, but it's okay. It's close enough. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we are going to just make this a little bit less light. Okay, so I'm literally just going to sew this crotch, these crotches together, because this will feel much better than being poked by seam allowances in there, I believe. So let's just sew these together like this. All right, so now I have, here is my, so here's my crotch here, and here's my two hems here, okay? So what I'm going to do now is put this aside, and I'm going to take my shorts, and I'm going to fold them right sides together. And the cool thing about, this is I can easily see my right and wrong sides, unlike when I'm using my performance sports knit. So this makes it real easy. You know, we're just going to sew the short little inseams now. Okay, so I've got like a, I don't know, like a 4.5 inch inseam maybe. And you'll see here, I have a shaped hem. So see how the hem is, pokes back out, see? So I'll be able to fold it up and it'll fit. So I want to make sure I keep that shaping. So let's sew these little seams. All right, so our next step is we are just going to sew. Make sure that's really sharp. It's hard for me to tell sometimes. Let me just put this here. A little less. I'll make sure that's sharp. I can't tell. All right, I guess that's sharp. Okay, so let me just sew this now. My inseams. I will tell you that buying quality swimsuit fabric is important because less expensive swimsuit fabric is not comfortable to wear. So this is a good quality that I got at a shop in Norwalk, Connecticut called Banksville Fabric. Okay. All right, so when I get to the shaping down here, I'm basically just going to stretch it straight so I don't cut anything off. Because I literally want to keep that shaping and I don't want to fight with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little tweezers to hold it. So I'm literally going to just grab these two things. And hold them together like this. So see how I'm kind of holding them straight there. Maybe I could be a little bit brighter. Okay. All right, and I'm just holding them straight while I sew the rest of this so it's straight. I don't want to cut anything. Oops, I think I did cut something. Well, I did trim a little bit, but that'll still be okay. All right, let me do the other side. I'm going to get ready ahead of time with this one. I'm going to hold it like this so I can straighten it out. Do not want to. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this inside out one, the right side out one, I'm going to put it inside my inside out one like this. I'm going to sew the crotch seam like this. So again, I'm just lining these up. And we are going to sew, and here I'm just going to have them both going towards the back. All right, so I'm going to clip these so they're not quite so long. And then I'm just going to have both of these going towards the back. And then I'm just going to start in the front like this. And I'm just going to stitch these like this. Now, here is what we're going to do. Here are my shorts. To the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to line it up like this, and then I'm just going to stitch through. So I'm basically going to, oops, wait a minute. So basically what I'm going to do now is this is going to get caught in the hem right here. And I'm going to have to, I should have made some guidelines maybe, but that's going to get caught in the hem. This is going to get caught in the hem. And what I really should have done was mark the, where the actual inseam was. But basically what I'm going to do is these are going to get caught in there. So when I hem it, okay, and actually what I think I'm going to do to make it easy is I'm just going to make sure everything's matching. Like this. Some notches here would have helped me, but I didn't do notches, so I'm eyeballing it. But you can see what's going to happen here is I'm going to top stitch this into place. That's basically what I'm going to do. Oh, and the other thing is, I know that this doesn't make, this does not make it into the hem allowance actually. So it's like this. So see how the hem is going to come up and cover it like that, if that makes sense, right? So it doesn't stretch to the actual hem allowance, it only goes to here. So I'm going to have to use pins, and I'm going to have to top stitch that in place. So I almost made a tragic error by stretching it to the edge. The hem allowance is not included, and I would have figured that out when it didn't reach. So then this one is going to be right here. Probably like, if I stretch it across, probably like right here. And actually, you know what I can do? I should have marked it. All right, I'm just going to get this back over here to see. All right, so here's my, here. So see, I can see it has to line up right here. All right, so I should have made a notch there. So now I know it goes right here, like right there. Let me just double check this one. Oh yeah, I can definitely see I have to fix that. All right, so let me now put it, I have to flip it upside down. So this needs to go right here. All right, so marking that would be easier than me trying to eyeball it. So clearly mark wherever your inseam is so you could match that. So now I've got those where they need to go. Oops, except not right there. Over here. I should have made it go all the way to the hem, but I was trying to remove bulk, so it's going to go like right there. Okay. All right, so see how that stretches across now? Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, you know what, I think I know an easy way to figure this out. No, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to line this up. I'm just going to feel for this. And I'm just going to pin it in the center so it's on the actual crotch right here. This probably isn't the most elegant method, but basically what I want to do is I just want to have this soft fabric, you know what I mean? I just want to have this soft fabric against my body. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pin it in place here. So this is my hem allowance, like this. And then I'm going to pin it through like this. Whoops, can you see what I'm doing? I'm sorry. Okay, like this. Put a pin here. You know, and now I'm going to get my sewing machine out and I'm going to sew it. After I finish pinning it, I want this to match all the way up to here. Like this. All right, so I think the easiest thing to do first is, let me get my sewing machine. I'm gonna put my, I'm gonna move my serger out of the way for now. I'll be right back. Machine. And I want to pick a color thread that kind of matches, you know, this. Like if I plug this in, you can see it. So I'm thinking I'm going to use like a dark navy thread if I have it. I think I do. Yay. Okay, so I've got some dark navy. I'm going to use that. And what I'm going to do first is, I need to, oh, I can't have light blue in there. That's bad. Okay, that's the one thing I didn't plan for, is the fact that I need a bobbin. Hold on. Okay, let's see if I have a bobbin in here. Hold on. Of course I don't. Where are all my bobbins? Honestly. Oh, yay. Found it. Okay. All right, I have my bobbin. So now, I'm sorry, this is just the boring part of my thing here. I just have to wind a bobbin. It'll just take me a second with this navy thread. And I'm going to use this to top stitch the entire crotch seam. And then that's going to hold that, it's going to hold the, you know, I'm going to go right down the crotch to top stitch the seam allowances down. And then that will allow me to hold the little gusset in place as well down the center, and then I'm going to top stitch around the edges, you'll see. So it's kind of going to look like bike shorts, so maybe putting a seam there wouldn't have been a bad idea. I'm just trying this. You know what I mean? Like, this is something I'm just experimenting with, so bear with me. We already have a successful top, so if the shorts don't come out, I can always wear this top with my skort, my swim skort that I have. But I thought it'd be nice to make shorts. So we'll see. All right, so let's get this here, and then let's just thread this. And then, after I thread this, we're gonna stitch. And just through the eye of the needle. Okay. Oops, let me get this here. So I used to work at Manchester Sewing for a long time, and back then I was like the youngest, one of the youngest people in the room, and so I would thread the machine for all the people that are approaching the age I am now, or I'm sorry, I'm approaching the age that they were then, and now I understand about needing to be able to see to thread your needle. All right, got that going. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I am just going to start stitching, and I'm gonna go from the wrong side so I can see what I'm doing, because I want to stitch down this, right? And we're gonna use the triple zigzag, and I'm gonna make it a little bit longer than the default, like 1.4, let's say. So this is gonna support my crotch seam from busting open, especially since my serger's not working fabulously. This is gonna fix all that. So let's get in there and see what we're doing now. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is I'm just gonna stitch this. Is this sharp? Here we go. All right, so now I'm just gonna stitch this. Oh, but we have to make it. See, I'm just stitching my seam allowance down. There's no way that's gonna go anywhere now. And then when I get to here, I'm gonna cut this off. I'm just gonna stitch this. Now I wanna make sure that stays put. All right, and then I'm gonna feel for the crotch seam as I go. And then I'm gonna stitch right off the other side. And then I'm gonna stitch right up the other side. All right. Now see what that's going to do, you can see here, it's just going to give me a sporty look on the right side. So see how you can just see the little zigzag that goes all the way through the crotch, right? And I'm going to do the same thing from inseam to inseam now too. So basically now I'm going to start here along my inseam, right here. And I'm going to stitch straight across here as well. Now I can feel for my seam allowance under there. Oh, so it may rain on Saturday. Yep, I know the weather might not be fab, but I'm going to be in Maine. I don't know, we'll see. I am going to be on the beach all day Saturday, Friday too, and on Sunday. Come home later Sunday. I'm just making sure this is laying flat here. Okay. All right, so I got that. Then, so see how that's nice and soft in there now? So then what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I need to sew, well, all right, I think what I want to do is I just want to see what happens when I move this out of the way for a second. I may decide to sew those curved edges as well. Oh, thanks. Oh my God, it's already 2:30, you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take so much time. But basically now, with this, I think if I hold this like this, so I'm just going to hem this, you know, using I think I'm just going to use the zigzag again. And this is going to get caught in here like this. Right? I think I could leave the rest of that gusset unattached because it's going to be closed up here in here. So let me just pin it like this. I'm going to turn it right side out and look inside out and look at it again. So like if I catch all of that in here, let's say, it's like I just wanted a liner kind of inside for comfort. I don't really care how it looks. I mean, I want it to be comfortable, but all right, let's turn this inside out again and see. Yeah, see, so I think, like, see, like I think once I sew those hems, I think that's going to be fine. Let's see. So see what I mean? So it's almost like a dropped in, you know, and if it bugs me, I will stretch it out and just top stitch here and here. But basically that's how I'm going to finish that. But I think that that's much more comfortable than having the seams up against you. So that's just, and also remember this, the Supplex is butter soft, butter. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. You know, so I'm just gonna turn this whole hem under, you know, this amount. And I think I'm gonna be good. And I think I'm just going to do it right now so it's done. And then all I have to do is pop on a yoga pants waistband. And then I'm done. So that's my project. It's very exciting. So a new tankini in an hour and a half, ladies. Well, I did cut it out before I came on, but this is a pretty quick project. So see, there's my hem. And that's how it's going to look there, right? Let me cut this. Don't need that. Boop. Here, let's just do one leg so I can check the theory. I'm going to turn it right side out so I can sew inside the circle. And I'm going to sew face this way. So I'm literally going to just like this, all the way around. All right, I'm committed now. I'm doing it. I'm just going to do a knot. All right. All right, I'm just going to quickly do the other leg, and I know if people are like leaving, I understand that this is taking a long time, but I just want to do the other leg just so I can try them on. I'll show you how it looks with the gusset, and then I'll be able to tell if I need to sew it down any farther. But this will just take me 1 second to hem this side. And again, I'm going to turn it right side out. Let's just sew this. I'm going to start right here. I wonder if I tuck this in there. I'm just going to cut it. I was like a beach life girl and I was wearing this all the time, I probably would take a little bit more care. But because I'm, you know, I'm probably only going to wear this once or twice. I'm shooting for not embarrassing. All right, I'm dying to try this on to see if, oh, Ray says, no worries, Jen, I love a long sewing life. Oh, good. Well, if you love it, I love it. I don't know. I feel like sometimes when I'm showing stuff like this that has a lot of steps and they take a long time, sometimes I feel like you guys are watching paint dry. So that's why, you know, I feel like sometimes I'm a torture chamber when it comes to whatever. All right, I'm going to take off my yucky gray shorts, and I'm gonna put on these shorts, and we're gonna see how it looks and how it feels with this gusset just laying loose in here. I mean, I do have my underwear on, so I don't get the full effect, but I do think, yeah, see, I think, right. I think this is gonna be nice. All right, let me show you how it looks. All right, let me move this out of the way. Whew. All right, and then let me make the big reveal. I think I'm gonna be cute. Boop, boop, boop. What do you think? You know, and I feel like, okay, let me just get my underwear straightened out here. You know, I feel like if I look in there, yeah, the thing is laying nicely in there, so I don't think I need to sew it down. I think it's just gonna hang out there. And I think I have a happy bathing suit on. So yay, so I've made myself, oh sorry, I'm on a delay. See? Oh my God, I just saw myself check out the inside of my gusset because I'm on a delay, so. Okay, but look this is fun, I'm excited. So this is gonna be good. All I have left to do is put on a yoga pants waistband, and it's done. My cute little shorts. Ta-da! So there we are. Jennifer at the beach. You saw it here first. All right, so I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me in my messy studio. Yeah. So, boop. All right, so everybody make yourself a tankini like my tankini. Get yourself some Supplex. This stuff is wonderful. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for sharing this experience with me. I have a new top. I have a new pair of shorts. I'm going to move on to my next project that I have to get done before I leave. I have to get some orders out, a few other things, and I will see you 2 weeks from today, Fab Fit Friday. Okay, I'm going to be in Iowa next weekend. So 2 weeks, we're back on Fab Fit Friday. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay cool. And if you live in Spokane, please, I want you to know I've been thinking about Spokane every day since I heard about the fires. My good friend Katrina Walker lives there, and I'm devastated for the whole entire community. So please pray for them. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks, Fab Fit Friday. All right, bye-bye.